Hey everyone, and welcome to the Graceful Knitter podcast. This is my first episode, and as you can tell, it's kind of all over the place already. Have so much in my background. I haven't had the time to clean my craft room, and the window behind you is open because it is unbelievably hot in my house today, and this room always gets hotter than every other room. And I have my notes in front of me, so if I'm looking down constantly, I'm sorry. And I have a mountain of whips over here. But first, I want to introduce myself. My name is Gracie. I live in beautiful Tennessee, Middle Tennessee to be specific, and I am 21 years old, and I am a new knitter. I started knitting about 6 months ago, and I fell in love. I've been crocheting quite a bit longer than that, but knitting, so much more fun. So much more enjoyable for me and has taken up so much of my time. I'm also a college student. I am studying early childhood education at Tennessee Tech University, and I love it. I am fixing to start a practicum next week in a pre-K classroom, and I'm so excited about that. But that's enough about me because I know you guys are all here for the knitting. So let's dive right into some finished objects that I've finished over the last little bit. So first, I finished this project. I'm calling it Valentine's Crush Hat because I made it during Valentine's, and it's an ombre of pinks, and it has this beautiful cable on the ribbing. The pattern is the Autumn Crush Hat by Twin Stitches Designs, and the yarn that I used is Swish DK in Hollyberry, Rose, and Frosting, and it is beautiful. And I got this pump at Hobby Lobby. I'll try it on for you and show you what it looks like. I think it's so beautiful. And it's gonna be perfect come next winter. It's already getting too warm here in Tennessee to be able to wear it this year. But I think that it's gonna be perfect for next winter, and already messed up my hair. Okay, so the next whip that I have, and I don't have this on blockers because my blockers are occupied at the moment. And these are a little dirty because I have been wearing them, but I want to show them to you anyways because this is my first podcast and I am unbelievably proud of these. So this is my Sweetheart sock. The pattern is by Nitty Natty, and the yarn is a sock set by Moonglow Yarn Co. And I knit these for the Sweetheart sock along that they had during the month of February. And I had both of them finished. I finished them the morning of February 28th. On my way to class, I finished them sitting in my car waiting to go into class on February 28th. So I cut it really close. But it was a fun pattern. It was really fun. And I'm horrible when it comes to Second Sock Island. And these were no issue to finish. I was so excited to get to the next section. Even though once I got to the second sock, I had already finished, all the sections, but I was excited about knitting the second one, which is abnormal for me. But there's those. I don't know if you can hear them, but my dog is barking. This is a mess. Anyways, that is my second FO. That is in fingering weight as well, by the way. I forgot to mention that. And I'm gonna have my Ravelry project page listed in the down bar so that you can go and see all the specific details of all of my projects. But my next FO is something I'm trying to, and I've only been knitting for a small amount of time, and I've only knit before these socks. I've only knit I think 4 pairs of socks. So I'm still trying to perfect my sock recipe. I am to the point now where I don't need to follow a pattern to knit socks, which is really great. But I'm still trying to finagle my stitch count and my row count and how I like my leg and what heel I like and what toe I like and everything like that. Like this heel in these socks, I did a heel flap and gusset with the slip stitch because that to me at the moment is the most comfortable heel that I've done on a sock. And I am intimidated by the fish lips kiss heel, and that's what this pattern was written for. And technically you're supposed to have, so you have these stripes here, but you're supposed to have stripes at the back of the foot as well, right after the heel. And that would have been confusing for me with doing the heel flap and gusset. So I just opted to take out that section and just do the stripes at the toe, and I think they're just as beautiful. However, I would have liked having them at the back of the foot, but I'm still really happy with them. And I have been trying to try different heels on socks, and so for my next FO I did an afterthought heel, and I loved the construction of it, but I don't think that I'm a very big fan of the fit. So I'm gonna have to try that out and see. And I also kind of altered some stitch counts in the heel and the toe for these socks as well. But these are some Felici socks. The Felici, the color of the Felici yarn is Palm Springs, and I think it is beautiful. It was on sale during Valentine's Day, and so I got one skein of it. This is 50 grams, and I have a long foot, and I really didn't think that it was gonna work. And as you can see, I had to finagle a little bit. I did this one first, and I did this one second, and the heels are different because I was running out of yarn, and the toes are slightly different. But I think it's pretty cool that I can do a shorty pair of socks with a 50 gram skein of yarn and have socks that fit. I mean, given I did have to take out some knit rows from this toe in order to make the yarn last. But I made up for it, and not very well. This is very amateur. It fits kind of weird, but it works. I put a couple extra knit rows in the heel to kind of compensate for the length of the foot that I was taking away. But I think that they're beautiful. They fit really well. I've only tried them on, they're blocking, so I have them on my sock blockers at the moment. That's why I didn't have my Sweetheart socks on here. But I think they're really pretty. One thing that I'm not a big fan of with the afterthought heel is how I keep getting these holes. And if anybody has any tips for how to not get holes whenever you're picking up stitches for the afterthought heel, please let me know, because I would greatly appreciate that. It's kind of annoying to get through a whole sock and then go to put it on your blockers and realize, oh, I have holes in my sock. And you know, sometimes you can sew them up if you have ends, but for these, because I learned it on the Sweetheart socks because the pattern's written this way, but I weaved in my ends as I went. So on the heels, whenever I was going to like finalize and weave in ends, I only had one end to weave in because that first end I stitched over as I was knitting. And so I wasn't able to stitch up these holes. So, I mean, I'm gonna wear them. They're socks. They're gonna be in my shoes. It's just kind of annoying when you spend all that time and effort on something and you have holes in them. But Like I said, I'm a new knitter, so I'll figure it out eventually. But if you do have tips, I would love to know them. Okay, that is all of my finished objects. I have a mountain of whips, so let's move right on into that because she's a big pile. So first off, the whip that I want to talk about is being housed in this bag. Now this is a bag that I got for Christmas this past year. It's a Hobby Lobby bag, and it just says knit words, craft words, like all sorts of cute stuff on it. It has this really cool open pocket in the front, and then there's no more pockets on the inside that I know of, but I am just housing my yarn for this cardigan in here. And this project is the Uptown Cardigan by Stephanie Jessica Lowe. I don't know how exactly you say that. I don't want to butcher it, but I'm from the South. I have a Southern accent. I'll butcher anything trying to say it. But I've had this on the needles for a very long time. This is one of the first knit objects that I started. And I kind of ran out of steam on it pretty early because it's very, very repetitive and it's going to take a long time to do, I'm finding out. But I picked this back up a couple days ago, and I plan on trying to book it through and get this done in a timely manner. Won't be fast because I am a junior in college and have a very busy schedule and have several other whips on the needles. But I'm just planning, if I can do 10 rows a day, you know, I'll be good. And this is a sweater that is made in parts and is seamed up together. So that also makes it easier because I can start on multiple panels at a time if need be. Right now, all my needles are occupied, so can't really do that at the moment. But I did start with the back panel, and it's the largest panels, so if I can get this done, it'll be great. But this is her. She is being made in a 1x1 rib and then garter stitch all the way up. I can't remember the exact stitch count, but this is a paid for pattern, so of course I'm not going to give it out for free. But it is super beautiful yarn. It's like a skin colory kind of yarn. It's a, let me look and see what fiber this is. It's 51% cotton and 49% bamboo. So it's really soft, really nice. And it's going to be a nice oversized flowy cardigan. It's supposed to be a like longer cardigan. I can't remember the exact dimensions, but there again, I'll have my Ravelry, I can never say that word, Ravelry page in the description box below, and so you can go on there and you can look at my project page and get to the pattern from there and see pictures of it and things like that. I would say that I'm going to put the picture right here, but I don't know how well I'm going to be at editing this, so we'll save that. If you want to see the picture of it, you can go to my Ravelry page for now. But this is the yarn that I'm using. It is Kobu yarn. Kobu. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce that. But it is Lion brand yarn. The color is tan. It's a DK weight. And it, like I said, it's 51% cotton, 49% bamboo. It's really, really pretty. And I have quite a few skeins of it to make this cardigan. Okay. That was that project. Now let's move on to the next one. It is getting quite hot in here. I think the high temperature today is like 63, 64 degrees, and this Sherpa is just not cutting it. Okay, which one did I want to do next? Okay, we're gonna move on to my sock projects because there's a lot of them, and don't really have a certain like pattern that I'm using for any of them at the moment, except for one. One of them has a pattern. But this is my apple cider socks. This is a colorway. It was a sock set, so it came with this many, by Ruby and Rose's Yarn. And I got this several months ago, and just now decided to knit it. But when I first started knitting socks, I was knitting them with 72 stitches because I do have a wider foot, and I thought that that would be the perfect size for me. Turns out I was very wrong, and I have several socks that are in the 72 stitches. And they're a little big. I can still wear them. They just do slip up and down quite a bit. And I think also that my gauge is loosening as I become more comfortable with stitches and things like that. So these are my last pair in 72 stitches, and they've been on my needles for well over 3 weeks. And the only reason why is because halfway through making these, I realized 72 stitches is not what I need to be making. So I've kind of lost steam on them. I am going to finish them. My goal is to try to do 10 rows a day or 10 rows a week. Who knows? I'll decide that in the future. But that's my plan for those, just to get them done. I don't have a deadline for them. They're just vanilla socks with a heel flap and gusset and a 2x2 rib on the cuff. 20 rows for the cuff. 40, no, these are not 40 rows. These are, I did 10 rows for the leg, and then I did 55 rows for the foot. I also have went down in my foot rows as well, row count, since I was knitting these, but since I already have one done, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other one in the same row count and go from there. But that's those. And while I'm showing, these are in a bag that looks crocheted because it is crocheted. I made this about a year ago. It's a pattern for a purse. It was a kit that I got on lionbrand.com, and it's a cotton yarn held double with like double stitches that are done. I can't remember if they're called in the post or something like that. It's been a while since I've crocheted, but that's what that is. And I just found that it was too small for a purse, but it's the perfect size for a sock project, so, or even a hat project would fit in here, or a baby knit, who knows. But yeah, I made that. It's got a bottom panel part, and then you bring it up and you stitch it up through here, and then you attach this the straps, and yeah, it's pretty great. The only thing I don't like is that whenever my needles are in here, they kind of poke through the bag, but I mean, what can you do? So there's that. I also want to talk about this because this is also a long-term project. This is also in a bag from Hobby Lobby. It's an old bag that I had from crocheting, and it's all sorts of beat up. But I have been working on some washcloths because I want to, by the end of the year, I want to have 12. I want to have one for each month. I didn't do one, well, I did half of one in February, so I need to finish that one, and I need to do one for March. But this is my January one. This one's really small. This is what the pattern called for, like the sizing, but I don't like it, so I have adapted it to be just a little bit bigger, and I'm starting that with my second one. But it's just a ribbing. It's done from corner to corner, and then it's garter stitch. I can't remember the name of the pattern. I want to say it's like Grandma's Favorite or something like that. It's whatever the popular one is that a lot of knitters do. And I'm doing it on straight needles because I have a whole set of straight needles that I don't use for anything else, and I figured this is a project that would do fine with straight needles. So I'm doing this on straight needles. This is the one that I started for February. It's kind of like a variegated but also self-striping in a way. It's really pretty. Got these at Hobby Lobby. They're just regular old cotton yarn. It's called I Love This Cotton, and I got quite a few different colors. I just got one skein of each color just to make do. But yeah, there's that. I'll probably only show that like once a month, because like I said, I'm only planning to try to do one every month. But yeah, that's those. Back to the socks, back to regular scheduled programming. That wasn't in that washcloth was not in my notes, but I saw it sitting on the floor over here and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta show that too. Okay. I'm gonna show these next because these have a lot of progress done on them. Okay, if you get the monthly Cozy Knitter yarn, look away unless you already have it for February. This is the February Cozy Knitter yarn. The name of it is Fancy Pants, and it is so pretty. It's a striping yarn with orange, white, gray, and like a royal kind of dark blue, and then the mini is in this blue color, and it's so pretty. And I have my little waste yarn in for my afterthought heel. Figured I'd try it again, try to figure out how it would best work for me. And then I just finished the toe this morning. And my plan is at the moment, because it's a 20 gram mini, but sometimes I have issues with having enough yarn if I do heels, toes, and cuffs, and I did a longer cuff than I normally do on these socks. So my plan is to leave this like this for now with no heel, and cast on the second sock, excuse me, and do this with the second sock, and then see how much yarn that I have left of the mini to see if I have enough to do the heel. If I do, then I'm going to use that for the heel. If not, I'll have plenty of the main skein to be able to do the heel. But yeah, that's my plan right now. And I chose orange stitch markers, orange light bulb stitch markers to mark my rows because why not, you know, go with the theme. And I don't have many stitch markers at the moment, and this doesn't really match with the yarn, but I think it looks really cute. I think okay, I said it doesn't match, but I think it matches. Other people probably will not, but it's like, it's a little Winnie the Pooh butt. Oh, turn around. Hang on. He's got a little bee on his butt. He's cute. I love him. I use him on so many projects. But there's that. This is the skein of yarn, by the way. It looks so pretty caked up. It is so gorgeous. I am not good at caking yarn, if you cannot tell. And it's getting loose in the inside because I've been using it. And I pull from the center. But yeah, I've been doing that. I do all my socks on size 1 needles, 2.25 millimeters. I forgot to say that. But I do all my socks on that size needle. Don't know why that word left me for a minute. I don't know if you can hear, but the dogs next door are barking. This is a mess. This is a mess. Just bear with me. Bear with me. We're getting through. So, oh, I forgot to tell what bag this was in. I am a horrible podcaster. It's my first one. It's okay. It's my first one. But I have several of these bags, and there's a lot of my projects are in these bags. But it's a little bag. It's got little cows on it. It's super cute, and little bottles of milk. And this fabric is also on the inside. It's just like a polka dotted, kind of matches the theme. There's one little pocket on the inside, and these are by the Irish Knitter on Etsy. She makes the best bags. I love them, especially for socks. Her little ones are so cute, and I think they're like anywhere from like $25 to $30 for the little ones, which are not bad compared to other companies. And they're really great quality. And like, this is kind of like a denim material on the bottom, so they're really nice. And the thought I heard something. The drawstring, why did that word leave me? I don't know. I'm a mess at the moment. I keep hearing everything every direction and it's distracting me. I'm so sorry. But it's a little like measuring tape design. It's super cute. And she has that on all of her bags. And I think all the ones that I have this denim on the bottom. So they're really nice. They're really cute. And they're really like good quality. Okay, I am gonna have to come out of this. I am sweating. Got this tank top, or this whole outfit actually, at Old Navy. They're having such a good sale, at least my local one is. And they're so size inclusive, so I'm always shopping at Old Navy. Okay, that's so much better. Okay, my next socks, I just started these yesterday, so I'm not very far. But they're in a cute little bag that's got little mixing bowls and a stand mixer on it, and this cute green fabric. So cute. This is one of my newer ones. I got this one like maybe 2 weeks ago. Well, it came in maybe 2 weeks ago. But this is just a sock yarn from Hobby Lobby. Not the best quality. I really don't enjoy knitting with it, but my friend really wanted some socks. And I really wanted to make her some socks. So, and I had this in my stash, and she picked she picked a yarn out from my stash, and I just wound it up, and I'm gonna make her some vanilla socks with it. I was gonna make her some other socks with a pattern, but that yarn really made me mad. I messed up and had to restart 3 times, and then on the 3rd time, I couldn't get it to frog. So I got frustrated, and I threw the whole skein of yarn away. Don't worry, it was not expensive. It was Hobby Lobby yarn as well. And it's funny because that yarn color is so different from this yarn color that she picked out, but it's funny. And these are super cute, and hopefully I'm not gonna mess them up because now I kind of know how to knit socks. When I started those other ones, I didn't really know how to knit socks. So there again, I can't cake a skein of yarn to save my life. But it's so cute. It's like a speckled variegated yarn with some pinks and yellows and some like brown, I think, or maybe that's some maroony color. Ooh, it might be like a wine. There's a couple specks of blue in there. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, super pretty. I've just gotten to the cuff, did my 20 rounds for the cuff, did 64 stitches for her, cast that on. Yeah. And I'm just gonna do vanilla socks with that. Should have those done by the end of the week, hopefully. So by the next time I podcast, these will probably be a finished object, which will be very nice. Hopefully I will have several finished objects by the next time I podcast. Okay, that's it for socks. No, it's not. I have another pair. Like I said, this is madness today. I'm so sorry. My needle has poked through my bag. Get back in there. Okay. This bag is also a bag from Hobby Lobby that I got when I started knitting. This is the first bag that I got to make a pair of socks. And I was trying to make socks with worsted yarn. Did not end very well. But you know, you live and you learn. Now look at me, I'm knitting socks like a mad woman. So these socks are for my other friend who I wanted to make socks for because I wanted to try out a pattern. And I didn't want to make just socks for myself. I wanted to make socks for my friends too, the people I love. So I made these. I've made one of them. I'm on the second sock, and I have been on the second sock in the same spot for since like November of last year. Because this is a pretty difficult pattern. Well, not difficult, but you have to really pay attention. And I have been busy with school lately. So I have not had the mind space nor the energy to sit down and work on a pattern such as this. And I told her that. I said, you know, it's already, I told her this the other day, it's already getting to a point in the weather where, you know, it's too warm to wear wool socks anyways. So if I can just have these done for you by next fall, will that be okay? And she said, yes, of course, because she knows, you know, that this is a hobby for me, and I wanted to make these for her. She didn't ask for them. So it's like a gift. So, you know, she'll get them when she gets them. But they're really pretty. I can't exactly remember the designer. I do remember that the name had something to do with Taylor Swift's Folklore album. That's how long ago I started these. But they're so pretty, and I did a heel flap and gusset on them. This is, oh, so many ends. This is the pattern. It's really pretty. You use a cable needle, and there's 1x1 cables in it, and some yarn overs and some knit togethers, and it's so pretty. And on the, it's gonna be hard to show, but on the foot there's like some lacy bits. So pretty. And the main color yarn starts halfway through the ribbing, which is really, really pretty. And this is also just Hobby Lobby yarn. You can't tell on the camera, but it does have some sparkle to it. It is a sparkle yarn, which is not my favorite to work with, but I'll do what my friends want me to do. But I did 64 stitches for her, and then 6 inches for the foot. This was before I started counting rows because I wasn't confident in my ability to count rows. This is like the 3rd stock that I started, including that worsted one that I talked about earlier that did not end well. But I'm on the 2nd sock. I just did the heel turn. Just need to pick up gusset stitches and start on the gusset. My plan is, and it's all tangled, all sorts of tangled, but my plan is that I'm gonna start this as soon as summer break hits, and finish it before the fall semester starts, because when the fall semester starts, I will be going hard with school. I will be doing student teaching. Well, first, I will be doing 8 weeks of classes. I think I'll have 3 or 4 classes during the first 8 weeks of the semester, and it's gonna be a whole semester's worth of material crammed into 8 weeks in 3 to 4 different classes. So that's gonna be intense. And then starting in October, I will be starting student teaching, and I will stay in that classroom through May. So my plan is to get these done this summer and give them to her. And that way I don't have that thing on my plate, because I'm going to be so stressed out next semester. But anyways, that is this, and I don't remember the names of any of these Hobby Lobby yarns. That I would not even know where to look for the labels. I've just started recently redoing my craft room, so there's no telling where any of that's at. But they're Hobby Lobby yarn. They're low quality. I mean, do they deserve a name? It's iffy. Okay, this is my last knit whip. I do have a crochet whip to show you today, because I'm in Nitty Natty, her membership, and we're doing a quarterly make along where we try something new every month, and this month is crochet, which crochet is not new for me, but I wanted to participate. So I started a crochet project, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I want to finish up my knit projects really quick before we move into that. This is also an Irish knitter bag. It is got little gnomes on it and different colored hats. It's super cute. You can see my needles poking out the top because I have like 4 skeins of yarn in here that are DK. So this project was inspired by Nitty Natty. She did this last month for the membership, which the theme last month was color work. I did my autumn crush hat for that make along, and I had leftover yarn. I had quite a bit of leftover yarn from that. So I started this cowl that Natalie did last month with that leftover yarn. It is called the All Together Now cowl. I've barely started, so you can't really tell much, but I have 3 contrast colors, the same 3 that I had in the hat, and that same white, and I'm going with the pattern. Filled in a chart with the colors that I have so that, you know, on the pattern, so that I can decide how I want the colors to go. And I am just, I've done 1 chart repeat, and I am like a 1/4 of the way through the 2nd chart repeat. Super pretty, gorgeous, I love it. She is curling up, so I'm hoping when I block her that will go away, because that will annoy me. But I figured, you know, even though they're not the same pattern, that I can wear those 2 together next winter, and it would be pretty. And I just recently bought a red jacket at Old Navy that would look so good with these, so whenever I'm student teaching next year, I can just roll in on Valentine's Day with my Autumn Crush hat and my All Together Now cowl and my red jacket from Old Navy, and I will be with the theme. Okay, time for my last whip. This has a lot of moving pieces at the moment. So this is Nitty Natty's float tote, and I am just using some old acrylic yarn that I have in my stash that I need to get rid of. And this is the bottom. I'm doing a 5 skein, by the way. It's huge, a lot bigger than I thought it was gonna be, but I need more sweater bags. So this is the bottom of it. I've just started where you come up for the side, but I ran out of yarn, so this is on hold at the moment until I can go back to Hobby Lobby tomorrow and get 1 more skein of this yarn. It's a cheap yarn, so I'm not upset about having to buy another skein. I also think I'm gonna have to, because it's a 2-color float tote, so I think I'm gonna have to get another color of the white too, another skein of the white, because I am running pretty low already, and I've just done with the white. This is held with the yellow and the white together. This is the insert for it, where you'll put the magnets to hold these little tubs that'll hold your yarn. And I've made these, and I'm already running out of white, so I need to weave in these ends. They're everywhere. But yeah, they're little tubs. I need 3 more of these. These only take me like 20 minutes to crochet. I'm a fast crocheter. That's the first thing I learned how to do. I've been crocheting for like 3 years. So this is a fast project for me. It's just, I'm just kind of using it as like, whenever I get bored with all my knitting projects, I start working on my float tote. I've not really been into crocheting much as of late, so I mean, this is the first crochet I've done in probably 6 months or so. I promised my friend Abby that I would make her a one of those big soft stuffed bees, because she has a niece and they call her Honeybee, and she wants a honeybee for her honeybee, and then she wants one too. We have an obsession with Squishmallows. We have too many. In fact, we just ordered together, because they were in 2 packs, the little hammocks that for stuffed animals for our Squishmallows, because they're overrunning our bed, both of our beds. And she wanted me to make her one too. So I have the yarn. I got it from the Dollar Tree. I'm just gonna hold it double. It's like a Chanel kind of yarn. I don't know where it's at exactly, or I would show you. But she wants me to crochet her one, and I've been meaning to do that for like 7 or 8 months, since last summer for sure, and I just haven't done it. I cannot make myself crochet at the moment. So sorry, Abby, if you're watching this. I know that you want to see your bee. I know you want Becca's bee, but I'm just gonna have to wait a little bit, because I mean, I'm starting to get back into my crochet groove. Don't get me wrong. This float tote is getting me back into that groove, but definitely have been out of that groove for a while. I did frog something this week. I frogged it actually this morning. I don't have the yarn near me, and I don't have It's my iPad that has on my knit companion the pattern, and I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Vindauga tea. I will link it below, either that or I'll put the name of it right here, depending on my editing skills. But that was the first knit garment besides this cardigan that I was doing. It was made top down with a raglan, and I got through the raglan, split for the sleeves, the holding them on barber cords, which by the way, I love my barber cords. They're amazing. And then I knit, the pattern calls for you to knit 4 inches below the armpit on the, for the cropped version, and then 10 inches for the full size. But I was gonna do 6 inches because I was making it to be able to wear over like maxi dresses for teaching. So it didn't need to be long, but it didn't need to be short. So I was gonna do right in between and do 6 inches. And I did my 6 inches and got to that point yesterday, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this on before I go any further, because if I start the lace part at the bottom, and get through all of that, get through the sleeves, get it bound it off, whatever, you know what I mean. And it doesn't fit, I'm gonna be thoroughly upset because it's an expensive yarn, first of all. I got it at, which I don't have a local yarn store in my town, but the closest one is like an hour and a half away in Crossville. So I went there and I got this yarn, and it's a baby alpaca. It was like $26 a hank, and it's super pretty, super great feeling. Not my favorite to knit with, but it was okay. And so I tried it on yesterday, and if I can edit and do this right, I'm gonna put a picture of what it looked like right here, because I took a picture of it because it was bad. But it just came like right here, and it was tight. It was skin tight. Like I could get it on and off fine, but it was tight. And after the 6 inches, it was just like right here. So I was like, this thing will work. And what happened is that the pattern was wrote to have like small, medium, large, extra large, and then 2X and so on. And in everyday clothes, I wear a 2X. So I was just like, oh yeah, I can do a 2X and it'll fit fine. I also didn't think to gauge swatch. I didn't gauge swatch for this cardigan either, but like, I mean, it's an oversized cardigan. It's gonna fit. And I've already like held it up to me, and it's plenty oversized. And the garter stitch is stretchy, but this one I did in a 2X, and it had negative ease. So, and at the time when I started this, I didn't know what positive negative ease was. I didn't understand bust measurements, length measurements, arm measurements, all that kind of stuff. So I just went with my gut and just started it. Wish I wouldn't have done that, because I went back to look at the pattern this morning, because I put it down yesterday. I was like, I'm not even gonna touch that. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm frustrated. I'll revisit that tomorrow. And so I looked at it this morning. I looked at the pattern, and to get the positive ease that I wanted, I should have made a 4X. And that would have gave me 6 inches, or maybe, no, that would have given me 4 inches of positive ease. And that's what the pattern says that it's made for, is for anywhere from, I think it said 2 to 6 inches of positive ease. And so I was 2 sizes under what I should have been. So I decided this morning that I was gonna frog it. I rewound it. You can see my Swift over here, my cheap Amazon Swift. And it's sitting on my desk, and the rewound yarn, and I'm going to recast that on in a 4X. And I'm gonna gauge swatch this time, just to be sure that it's gonna fit, because it's a super pretty pattern. And if I can remember to like edit, I will show you at some point while I talk about this what it looks like. You might have already seen it depending on how I edit it. But it's really pretty. It was so fun to knit. I hate that I'm having to redo majority of it, but you know, you live and you learn. Mistakes make you a better knitter, a better person in general, whatever. Yeah. But that is, oh, I was about to end and I haven't even done acquisitions. Who am I? Okay. I do have quite a few acquisitions. I do need to pick up something that fell on the floor though, so give me just a moment. Okay, I'm back. I got it picked up out of the floor, and that's what I'm gonna start with. So me and my friends just recently decided to plan us a senior trip from when we graduate, and we're gonna do a road trip along the East Coast, and also we're going to Canada. And so that's gonna be fun. And one of the stops that we are going to make is our last stop is going to be in Orlando, and we're going to two places. We're going to three. We're technically going to the beach as well, but we're going to Disney World because we went last summer, but we only went to 3 of the parks because, you know, we're broke college students. Surprised that we even had the money for that, to be quite honest with you, because of the amount of concerts and stuff we spend our money on. So the one park we didn't go to was Animal Kingdom, and that's my favorite park. So we're going back at the end of this trip to Orlando, and we're gonna go back and we're gonna do a day at Animal Kingdom. And I have gotten pretty good at being able to knit without looking at it, and a year from now I'll be even better at that. So I have planned to bring, and I'm gonna find some yarn that's gonna be perfect just for a vanilla pair of socks. But I have planned to bring, and there's gonna be some crinkling, and I am so sorry. I should have undone this before I pushed play, but like I said, I'm a mess today. But I got, okay, so the Stitching Plaza, I can't remember her name, but I think that's what her Instagram handle is as well. I'll put it below, or I'll put it right here. But she sells on Etsy. She sells and makes project bags, and I have one of hers that is Disney themed, but it's also Christmas, and I don't want to take it in the middle of the summer. So she had this on her latest update, and I couldn't not get it because it's perfect because we're spending a day at Animal Kingdom. So this is the bag that I got. It's got little Mickeys on it with different animal prints and then these green leaves. It's perfection. I'm gonna put a sock project in here. I'm gonna have my yarn sitting in there, and I'm gonna hold it on my wrist, and I'm gonna knit while I'm in line for rides. It's gonna be perfect. And she had these Notion bags too on sale, and I used a coupon code that is probably no longer active, but it was where you could buy one, get one half off, I think, of her Notion pouches. And she didn't have one that matched this, even though she had like patterns that matched with her other bags that were in this update. But she did have another Disney one. And which lots of you probably don't know, but Monsters Inc. is one of my all-time favorite Disney movies. When we went to Disney World last year, we did like different days. Like we did a Pixar day where our ears and our shirts all matched, a Pixar movie. We did a Princess Day, and then we also did another day too, and I can't remember what it was, but that's irrelevant right now. But on the Pixar Day, I dressed up as, my shirt said, oh my god, I can't remember what it said, but I made it with vinyl. It was a Monsters Inc. reference, and then my ears were fuzzy and they looked like Sully, and there was a caravan, and Sully was in the caravan, and he noticed me in my ears, and he loved my ears, so I'm obsessed, long story short. And this Notion bag is what she had in her update, and it is so freaking cute. So I got this to go with this bag so that, you know, I'm still keeping the Disney theme while I'm at Disney. And then the other day, well, actually, I'm gonna go through this first because I don't know if you can hear this chair, but it's like rubbing on this other chair over here. Let me scoot over just a little bit. Sorry about that. This is a mess. I dropped my box of acquisitions. But sticking with the Stitching Plaza update, I also ordered a second bag and Notion bag. And this one was so cute. I could not pass it up. I had to have it because this is one of my favorite feel-good shows. I watched this growing up with my grandma all the time. So it is the Golden Girls set. And funny story, this pattern on this fabric, and I didn't realize it till literally just now. Me and my friends got a paint by number set that was Golden Girls from Five Below a couple months ago, and it's this exact pattern. So that's funny. I didn't realize that till just now, but this is super cute. I'm excited to use it for socks. Never can have too many sock project bags. That just gives me an excuse to cast on another pair. Not that I need one. I could just cast one on, but you know. But our second day that we're gonna be, our second location that we're going to in Orlando is Universal. And I didn't watch Harry Potter growing up, but my friends forced me to do a Harry Potter marathon about a year and a half ago, and I've been obsessed ever since. I'm a Hufflepuff through and through. And so we're going to Orlando, and I am stoked about Diagon Alley. I am going to be living it up. It's going to be the middle of May, but I'm going to be wearing my Hufflepuff scarf and robe. You just wait and see. But I also wanted something to be able to knit on while I am at Hogwarts and Universal. And so I found on Etsy, I can't remember the name of the seller. This is the first bag I've ever got from them. I'll look it up though, and I'll either put it in the description or I'll put it on the screen. But the pattern is the Marauders map. It's kind of bigger for a sock bag, but like, I'm okay with that. Like, I can do 2 at a time with this and easily, I mean, I'm gonna use this for socks whenever we go to Orlando, but like, in the meantime, I can use it for a hat, I can use it for anything else. And it's so cute. And it's got a little handle for me to put on my wrist while I'm knitting, which that might be not very good because my yarn will fall out. I guess I could zip it like just a little bit, where it's a little bit open where the yarn can come through. Maybe, I don't know. I'll figure that out. I've got a year. But these are the little tag, or the little, like, what would you call that? Zipper things that are on here. And like, there's the Deathly Hallows, and then the other ones say Mischief Managed, and I solemnly swear that I am up to no good, which, you know, classic sayings that go with the Marauders map. But yeah, those are my bag acquisitions. That is annoyingly clinky. Okay. And then I only have a couple other acquisitions, one more like company, but 3 more objects. So Desert Vista Dye Works, I am just now finding out about them. Apparently they're very popular. They do a lot of like fan-based yarn skeins, and they do mostly self-striping yarn, which I am developing a love for. And in a recent update, they did 3 of my favorite shows. And I couldn't not get them. Like, I've been looking for an excuse to get on there and get some yarn from Desert Vista Dye Works. So this was my excuse. So the 3 skeins, first I'll start with the sock set. This one has a mini with it, the other 2 do not. But it is the Friends colorway. And it's so pretty. That's probably washed out really bad from this lighting. But it's just like a little, I think that's like a mocha-y dark brown kind of color for the mini. And then there's like yellows and blues and reds and, you know, Central Perk kind of colorway. Super pretty. And this is in her Visso base. 75% merino, superwash merino, and 25% nylon. And this is a 100 gram skein, and this is 20 grams. Super, super pretty. The next one, this show put me through emotional damage, but I still love it. And I think, I might be wrong, but I think they canceled it, and I'm really upset about it. But when I saw this yarn, I was like, okay, I can be upset about the show, but I can also love a skein of yarn and make a pair of socks to rewatch the show in. Handmaid's Tale. It's very much Handmaid's Tale colors. It's so pretty. It's got like pinks and blues and reds, and I think there's a black that might be like a charcoal or a brownie color. Sometimes I think I'm just a little bit colorblind, but this is also on her Visso base. And I didn't say a second ago, but these are about 460 yards per skein. But it's so pretty. This is gonna be one of my next cast-ons, more than likely. I have an entire one of the giant Hobby Lobby bags full of just my sock yarn over here. I have a lot to work through. I have a shopping problem. But my last acquisition from Desert Fisted Dye Works is her Bridgerton colorway. It's got like yellows for Penelope and pinks and like really light soft blues and a couple darker colors, and oh, it's beautiful. And this is a different base. I don't think that you'll be able to tell. Oh, you might with the sun. Do you see the sparkle? Oh my god, that shows up really well. I didn't think that was gonna show up at all. Okay, well, this is on her Zine. Zin. It's spelled like that. I'm probably really butchering that. And that's probably backwards for you. Oh my god, this is a mess. But this is her sparkle base. It is, it's 75% merino, superwash merino, and 25% nylon, but it's got sparkle in it. And I know I said I don't like to knit with sparkle, but like, it's Bridgerton. It has to be sparkly. And season 2 is about to come out, so I can knit these while I binge watch, because I'm gonna do that. But yeah, that is all of my silly acquisitions, stuff I didn't need, but I wanted just to be cool. Like, I didn't need to have a special project bag for both of my locations on my trip. But you know what? I wanted it, so I bought it. I had the money. I bought it, you know. I also feel bad buying things right now, just because of, you know, everything that's going on in the Ukraine, and everything that's, you know, happening economically and things like that. But like, at the same time, I don't want to get on here and complain about gas prices and things, because I know that even though we have super high gas prices and stuff right now, we are still way better off than the people of Ukraine are, that are losing their lives, that are losing their family members, and that are losing their homes. And so I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to buy yarn and to buy project bags and to go on trips. But I also feel selfish in these moments, because you look on the news and you see all these people going through such hard times, and I don't want to diminish that, but also I'm very grateful for the life that I have and the life that I live, and the opportunity to go to school and practice and learn about something that I love and that I feel very passionate towards doing. Even though I'm not going to make much money doing it, I still get the opportunity to choose, and there's a lot of people around the world that do not, and I'm very, very grateful that I do. That went off on a tangent. Didn't mean to bring the mood down. But that's all the knitting things. If you're here for knitting, bye, have a good day. I hope you had fun, and hope you come back to my next podcast. I will now move on to things in my life. There's not many. Like I said in the beginning, I am fixing to start a practicum at a preschool classroom, and I'm really, really excited. I'm also very nervous about that. My degree is gonna enable me to teach pre-K through 3rd grade, but also any kind of education of birth to 8 years old. So in a school system, with my teaching license, I'll be able to teach pre-K through 3rd. But I could also work in a daycare if I wanted with this degree. I could work in early intervention. I could do any of that kind of stuff. My degree also gives me a specialty in special education. So that's a plus, and hopefully that'll pay a little bit better than just a normal elementary ed degree. And teachers are in such a high need right now. I look all over social media and I see people leaving the teaching profession because of the unbeneficial qualities of teaching right now, and how annoying it is to deal with administration and the workload and the amount of money that you have to put in as a teacher. And I know that that's going to be hard, and I know I'm going to hate it, and I know I'm going to complain about it, but I really have a passion for teaching children. I have a passion for children, for child development, and for giving the children of the new generation a fighting chance in a world that is stacked against them. Because as I get older, this world just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And I feel that my generation is already desensitized to a lot of these things. And so, these younger generations are as well, maybe even more so. And I want to be able to be the person that these kids look back on when they're older, when they're my age, and say, I really love what Miss Gracie did for me. I love that she gave me a love of learning. I love that she gave me an outlet to feel, an outlet to be happy when I don't get that at home, or things like that. And so I really am thankful for the opportunity to go through with this degree, and I'm going to push through the rough parts of teaching because I want to be there for those kids. And that's also another tangent that has nothing to do with knitting at all, but I'm very passionate about it. So, but yeah, other than that, I don't really have many other things going on in my life at the moment. I have 2 nephews that I love more than life itself, and I have a couple projects lined up, and probably that I'll start in the summer for them. I've crocheted them a couple things in the past and I loved it. I mean, other than that, there's not really much going on with me. Maybe next time I'll have more things to talk about when it comes to my personal life. But right now I'm just focusing on school and taking this week of spring break that I'm on at the moment to clean my house and to get everything in order. I live with my grandfather, and he drives a big truck to Texas and back every week. So he leaves on Tuesday mornings and he gets back on Saturdays. So majority of the time I'm here by myself. And I'm gonna take this week of isolation and deep clean my house. I'm gonna have the windows up every day. We're gonna be cleaning. There's gonna be a lot of bleach action. There's gonna be a lot of decluttering. There's gonna be a couple Goodwill trips. But yeah, I mean, I very much so am not like your typical college student. One, I knit. First things first, I knit. Secondly, I go to bed early, I wake up early. Third, I am not going on a spring break. I'm not going to get drunk. I did that 1 year. Was not fun. I didn't even really drink. We just sat on the beach. It was fun. I take that back. It was fun. It was just not my cup of tea. So I'd personally rather just be here cleaning and knitting and watching movies and spending time with my dog. Didn't mention that in the beginning. I have a Yorkie. He's 3 years old. His name is Archie. He is literally my pride and joy. I love him. He also gets on my nerves 24/7. But that's a dog, so he's also still very much in his puppy stage. So, but I'm gonna wrap that up here. Wrap up this podcast. I'm really happy that you all joined me today, and I hope you join me again next time. I don't know if this is going to be a weekly thing or if it'll be a bi-weekly thing or if it'll be a once a month thing. I'm kind of just going to figure it out as I go because I don't know how stressful the rest of the semester is going to be with my practicum on top of all my classes. So who knows? But I'll see you the next time I see you. Thank you so much for hanging out. Bye.